So finally the video I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for. How to get married in Bali and how much did we spend on our wedding?
You might actually be quite shocked at that. We'll get into all the details at the end, but we also asked on Instagram for everyone to send our questions, so we've got a bunch of those that we'll answer first, and then yeah, we'll dive into like the price and all the nitty gritty. Yes, and yes.
I love how you had to look at the notes for that.
But you have to book early. That is the key to staying within budget. And you also have to book, you have to like work with the seasons.
Yeah, so we actually booked at the end of rainy season. And the reason that we did that is because once you start finding your spots, you realize that they have seasonal pricing. And so we just went back like half a week and just put it at the back half of that before the spikes lift. And that's when school holidays
It did rain. Just so be aware, you know, there are risks with doing that, but it's worth it.
Having the venue and the villa one and the same definitely saved on money, costs, and organizational troubles, right?
Yes, and I think another major tip that we did was make sure you lock in your pricing like right when you book. So for example, we actually made a lot of decisions in 2023 and we made sure that we locked in vendor prices from 2023, which was ideal because we saw some 2024 pricing, which is when our actual wedding was, and it was starting to go up, like very expensive in comparison.
But having a wedding planner also eliminates, gets you around some of that in a way as well, but also saved us a lot of money, including a couple of refunds in the long run too, which we were surprised by. So I feel like that person probably hasn't necessarily seen the last 5 videos, but we got married, sorry.
Yeah, we did get married there. We got engaged there. It was one of our first holidays and we just generally love Bali.
We wanted to show our friends and family Bali as well.
Yeah.
The reality is nowhere's comparable.
No, not really. I mean, we looked into the Cook Islands. We looked into Thailand because that's also got a special place in our hearts. Yeah. And
Queenstown.
But Queenstown would have been so expensive. Yeah.
So this one's a tough one.
Yeah, we got everyone. You kind of have to when you're planning a destination wedding, and that is just one of the sacrifices you have to make, right?
Yeah, we wanted it to be destination. We wanted it to not blow the budget, and you do have to kind of limit things a little bit. Even still, we started at 36 people and we ended up with 22 because even the people that we wanted, some of them couldn't come. Yeah. Which carries over to another question.
This is a hard one, right? Because you're essentially asking people to take like their one holiday, right? They've got so much stuff to consider, like if they've got kids, the like money,
work, studies, whatever else.
Like life. So many things. So it is a massive ask, and we did realize that.
Yeah. So we gave everybody an 18-month like save the date.
Penciled in, save the date.
And then by 12 months out, we worked the seasons and the pricing and everything else. We said, this is the date. Are you in? Can you take leave? Does the money work? So on.
Because we had our wedding in the, the one villa, 8 rooms, we had a lot of our family and some of our friends like right there with us. But then we also had
Bali Beach Glamping is next door. And someone asked very specifically on Instagram, where else is there close to Villa Vedas? And it's there, it's the glamping. Glamping's like an understatement. It's like a room that's part of a tent. But anyway, we basically said you could stay somewhere like Canggu and just, to make it easy, and just travel up to 35-ish minutes for the occasions, or come and stay close by, and then because we're in this gangster villa, you can come and hang out and come for drinks and come for lunch and just like wander in. And that was the ultimate. So everybody took the second option. They all came and stayed up close.
And it was great because you didn't have to organize things or get into like logistics with people, because they would literally just walk along the beach and they were there. Yeah. So instead of texting people like, oh, what time are you free? Like, no. It just happened.
It's just like organically come in, or be like, hey, you guys around the Savo, you having a drink? And we were like,
come over. And they're here like 5 minutes later. It was great.
There were so many questions about finding a venue, finding a villa. How did we go about that? And honestly, it was tough. It was actually hard.
To begin with, it was like we had to pick what kind of style we wanted, because you can do a Bali wedding in so many different ways. You can go luxurious, you can go elegant, you can go beachy, you can go
cliff top,
you can go into the rainforest up in Ubud. Like there are so many things. We had to narrow down the kind of style or vibe that we wanted.
Yeah, but
first.
And then the challenges came is because we know Bali so well, and we've semi-lived there, and we've rented longish term villas, and we've stayed in luxury places, jump on Airbnb even, but no, they cannot all host weddings
because a lot of the villas are so close together. And the roads are not great. So it just meant that big trucks full of like generators and things like that couldn't get into the villa. So it's not as simple as just going on Airbnb and like, oh, this one sounds great. I emailed so many Airbnbs.
We even had Stacey's mum helping us at one stage.
And we were just like, by the end of that, we were like, nah, Airbnb is not the way forward.
So then what we did find is that the ones that are generally set up as like wedding venues, their pricing is like... Because I think they're basically looking to try and get European money, pounds,
USD,
US
pounds, and the New Zealand dollar does not translate in the same way. So we were just like, and the thing is, like, we know the value of Bali as well. So to pay 30 grand or whatever just for a villa for 2 nights was like, no.
Yeah, so when we found Villa Vedas, we were like, that is the ticket, and we booked it without having even seen it. No. Take this off.
In Bali, there are ways that you can do it, buddy. Shush.
Oh, dude.
But we didn't want to go down the religious route, and you can look into all the ways you can do it if you want to. But for us, we just signed the symbolic, what do you call it? Certificate?
Certificate, yeah.
For me, I found Pinterest boards really, really helpful. For you, I feel like you were just like online constantly, like you found the villa and stuff. Pinterest board, find your colors, find your style, figure out ways to save a bit of money. So for example, with the flowers, I knew we wanted white flowers and heaps of greenery, and the greenery saves you heaps of money because there's less flowers. So things like that.
And then you also found a bunch of suppliers, which was it difficult to organize being overseas? We were confident. We thought it would actually be relatively straightforward, especially because how well we know Bali. Stacey's also a designer and had a pretty clear vision. So we had picked out some suppliers. We went to Bali and failed miserably.
It was so sad. We came back so upset and like pretty much going, we can't get married in Bali.
You should explain why, yeah.
Because when we were there, we went to a couple of different suppliers and they were either closed, their hours were different, they were on a lunch break, they didn't reply. Like, all of these hurdles and obstacles were just thrown at us, and the only thing that we ended up finding was our cake.
It's so funny. So we drove to places that said they were open, 30, 40 minutes on scooters, sweating, show up, doors closed, no one around. It's just... Yeah.
It's harder than it looks.
Yeah. We had spreadsheets, we started contacting a bunch of different wedding planners, and we went down this whole rabbit hole, and it just got so overwhelming. We realized pretty quickly you do need a wedding planner, which is what lots of questions were about. It was like, why did you use a wedding planner? And we get it. Like, we ideally didn't want to have to spend money to pay somebody else to plan something that we thought that we could do, but you realize pretty quickly, negative.
You also realize that there is just so much to arrange, more than you even think about to begin with.
Yeah.
And
just the arrangements of flowers, or what
details.
The details is ridiculous.
All the details.
But the biggest thing that I see in there is one word: stress. You are paying for stress reduction, and I'm proud, like so proud of us to say that on our wedding day we were not stressed, because there was a team of people running around organizing everything, and we just chilled, and it was so perfect.
I am anxious at the best of times, and I thought I would 100% be stressed on the wedding day. Everyone told me, everyone I spoke to was like, make sure you take in every moment. You'll have your moments where you feel a bit stressed or anxious or whatever. So I was like actually waiting for it to happen, and it just never happened.
Didn't come.
It
was perfect. And further to that though, by having a wedding planner through Bali Love, they helped us with tattoos, restaurant bookings, hens and stags, ordering alcohol, food plans and stuff for days that weren't even part of the wedding. Activities, they helped us book transport for stuff, and essentially turned into like travel agents for us, while also planning an entire wedding and running around, like I said, and making sure that all the curveballs on the day, which was about 3 or 4, were just
done,
all sorted. It was just, it was definitely...
It's like nothing was too difficult for them, and we We were like, oh, would you mind doing this? And they were like, yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah. They're like,
what we...
yeah, can we get one?
Yeah.
So in terms of our search for wedding planners, we found 4 that we liked the look of. One didn't even reply to us. One was responsive, but sent a spreadsheet that we cross-referenced with all of the supplier stuff. The research you had done in the spreadsheets are done, and we thought you've added 30 to 40%. You know, we didn't trust them. There's another one that was so slow at replying to questions and then missed like details. You know, when you ask, is it this or this, and someone comes back and says, yep, and you go,
hang on a minute.
That's not ideal.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
You've got to be detail oriented.
And the other was Bali Love, who, like I said, we've mentioned a few times that we went to. I feel like we've kind of explained some of that, how we got there, but there's also a lot of other reasons that were positive for us.
So Tom, the owner of Bali Love, he's Australian. All of his team speaks English, but they also have locals on the ground who speak Bahasa. And I think in our first call with Tom, he spoke more about his amazing staff and how much it means to him to like help them. He talked about how he helped them through COVID and how he upskills them and stuff, and things like that. We're just like, it's quite important to us, so we just got a good kind of feeling.
Our DJ Abdul, I'm not sure what he used to do as part of the business, but they said he was just really good. He just partied. He was good to get the party going and loved music. And so they're putting him through DJ. He was the DJ at our wedding.
Yeah.
And it was just so good. This new thing that he started. So it was really cool. That part of it was nice. The app. That is what got me as my like selling point. I love my technology and stuff. So they've got this planning app, and essentially it talks you, there's heaps of advice, but it talks you through all of these different stages.
Every step of everything you could possibly think of.
Yeah,
is in
styling
there.
And ideas and concepts and everything.
Tick things off, and you can choose from a database and put things onto a wish list.
A database of operators.
Yeah, vendors.
And
it helps you find vendors that you may not have even heard of before, and you get to kind of see things and visualize. And
we could pick a wish list of stuff, then go through our wish list, make some comparisons, cross-reference that to what our budget was, which is what was so important. I was so worried we were going to go, let's book that thing, and then that comes, and then this and that, all these different things, and then you go back and go, we blew it. We blew the budget massively. So we also booked our videography and our photography through them. That's how we kind of found them, and that was a question that we had. We always knew that we wanted to go local with local businesses over there, and you did some research as well, right?
So what I did was I went onto YouTube, searched for our villa, and saw what videos came up, and I found a really beautiful wedding video that was shot at Villa Vedas, and so I did some research and figured out who it was, and
that was who we went with, right?
That's who we went with. So then I looked at their portfolio, made sure it was like kind of the general look and feel that we wanted. Obviously Dane had to look at that too, because that's massive, and that's how we did
you might think maybe that would be hard for us or would be critical, but I feel like maybe it was easier because we knew the style and the photography and videography that we wanted. You can do like 4, 6 or 8 hours. We just did 8 hours for both because, as you'll see in the pricing at the end, it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, in comparison to New Zealand pricing for that kind of thing. Our MC was our amazing friend Graham.
Who clearly sent through the question.
But if you are looking for a celebrant or an MC, our MC was amazing.
Yeah,
sorry,
G, you rocked that.
Our celebrant was awesome. His name was Min Lomo. He is a local, but grew up or spent a lot of time in Australia. He was an absolute trooper in the rain and just...
Legend. He was the most wet person at the wedding because he was willing to step back to be out of photos to ensure that we were covered.
But also his process in terms of us like writing our vows and him kind of getting the ceremony like wording together was amazing.
Yeah, we really appreciated that.
Yeah.
So this is the big guns.
Now into the nitty gritty. The big guns.
I just said the big guns. I forgot the nitty gritty bit. So, quick disclaimer: we won't include Villa Vedas in this because it's seasonal, because our guests all contributed to staying in the various rooms as well, and also we had a 5-night holiday, so it kind of messes things up a little bit. But when that is removed, We spent 20,000 New Zealand dollars on the wedding specifically. That will break down line by line in a second.
I still can't believe
I know.
that. That is so good.
If you add in the rings, suit, dress, that adds another 5K. We were quite tight on ourselves around that. I know we could have spent a lot more, but we kind of were stricter on that. Another 5K or so probably on holiday. So that's including our staying in Villa Vedas and the fees for the wedding, as well as other accommodation.
If you don't know, we spent a week with Dane's family beforehand, stayed a week in the villa, well, 5 nights in the villa, and then 5 nights with my family.
The total cost for a holiday in Bali, luxurious to throw it out there as well, to be fair. We didn't really hold back. And a wedding, we spent 30,000 New Zealand dollars.
Woohoo!
I reckon that's unbeatable. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
We're amazing.
What do you reckon? I think we're making it seem really easy through this video. It really wasn't. There was a lot of... There was some tears.
You gotta put in the...
I won't say who was crying, but some...
Poor Dane. You really do have to work for it. If you, like...
To save money,
Yeah, basically. But anyway, should we break it down?
Let's break it down.
Flowers and styling, 3,000. Although our original quote did come back about $1,500 more than that, but that's when we stripped out some of the flowers and went with
Still was beautiful.
greenery.
It wasn't over the top. It was lovely.
They literally did it all there on site in the morning. The ware, which is cutlery, crockery, glassware, 700. The aisle that was some of the tables, our chairs, and a few other bits and pieces. We got personalised coconuts. Jeez, that was a lot. $140.
And we didn't even get to use them because that area was just rained out, but that's all right.
They did come inside, and they looked cool for photos, so no regrets. The cake was $350. I feel like that's quite expensive, but...
We don't know why that was so expensive.
We went with, the cool place, that's why.
Yeah, and that was stripped back because we only had a single tier. The pricing was originally 2 or 3 times that. I can't even remember.
I think it was called Butter Bali.
Food and alcohol was 2,900, and this is a massive consideration when it comes to costs of the wedding in total, because you think if we had another 100 people at $100 a head, you're already, do the math, 10 grand. You know what I mean? It's just so fast.
We went for an unlimited alcohol beverage package, which meant we got beers, wines, spirits, cocktails, literally anything and everything you can think of.
Yeah.
And then we had a 3-course sit-down meal.
Food was unbelievable. But just in general, obviously, food and alcohol is cheap in Bali, so I think that cost should be realistic, whereas some places, villas, wedding planners were way north of that.
And I think that is because a lot of the time you have to bring in essentially your own kitchen. So if you hire a villa, sometimes they don't let you cook in the villa kitchen.
Oh, yes.
And you have to legit bring in basically like a food truck. You have to bring in everything, and that's too much.
True. Games is sad. We spent $50 on cornhole and the big
Jenga.
But then, as you know, it pissed with the rain. So we just saw that this morning, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't even see those. Assuming they were there somewhere, but you had some things just were unlucky.
Hair and makeup, I went with Trove Artistry, and they were amazing. And I spent $1,000 on my hair and makeup, 2 bridesmaids hair and makeup, and Flower Girl just hair. Oh, and Mother of the Bride hair as well. I've seen their 2024 pricing, and it is a lot more expensive. So
yes, but they did a great job, and they were lovely girls. I didn't spend much time with them, but they seemed really awesome.
Yeah, totally worth it.
We got little fans made because it was 30-something degrees, and so we had a collection of fans made for $85 that we just sat on the seats with guest name and stuff on it. Celebrant, our man Min, he was 550 smackers. We chucked in a random white Vespa that we wanted to get some photos.
Vintage Vespa.
The plan always was we were going to be in the rice fields on the Vespa, and that was going to be our photos and stuff. But we had to roll with the punches there in terms of the wedding. So with the rain, we really didn't get our value out of that, but it looked sick at the entranceway.
Cool.
Sound system and lights is something we stripped back a lot because we had sort of small numbers. That $605 honestly probably should have been way higher.
We looked at
2 or 3 times that.
Full coverage of fairy lights and stuff, and that was a lot more expensive, and I'm so glad we didn't do that because we ended up inside anyway.
Yeah, true. And then because we went with DJ Abdul, not only was it a cool story, and it was he's part of that business and only just sort of, been put through these classes and everything to do his thing. He was a whole $370.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have a time limit, really. Like, others would be 4 hours, $800, and at hour 3:59, and they're unplugging and they're getting ready to leave. Here's the video and photography.
Videography from Leora for 8 hours was $2,500.
That's for 60-second Instagram edit, a 3-minute highlight package, and then a 10-minute more thorough.
And then Jiwa photography we had for 8 hours as well. That was $2,000. These guys just pitter-patter around, and I just can't believe the photos and videos that we got, considering, like, obviously they know what they're doing, like, it's kind of like when you film a vlog and I'm seeing things for the first time. I was there and I didn't actually see it.
We're not keen on the posing side of photos, and they were really cool dudes, both the wedding and both the video and
lovely
photo.
People.
They were just like, we were chilling, and it was cool. And then the last is wedding planner, which is about $4,500. That's your sanity and your stress levels basically eliminated.
I would pay more than that because it's just worth it.
But if I had asked you, well, it's over 12 months. If I'd asked you 18 months ago,
I would have said no.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I can do it.
yeah. Me too.
There were, just side note, there were little things that we did do that aren't on here. For example, the welcome sign.
Oh, yes. Good call.
Menus, name tags, drinks list, things like, because I'm a graphic designer and I can easily get that sorted here.
They printed them there though? No, we took some. They
printed 1 or 2 things there.
And Sammy helped the others to,
Yeah, and then I just got some like ribbon from AliExpress or something, and I did a couple of designy things myself.
That's true, but it was 100% worth it.
And we got to jump in the pool at the end of the night and have a pool party, and you can't do that if you're kind of off-site somewhere, because you're going to get on a bus or like wet or whatever, or you have to pack your towels. Yeah. More logistics, and it was just like exactly what we wanted, which happened to be a massive party where we get married. We happened to get married, and that's exactly what it was. And
so
it was
picture this: you've just got married, you've spent 18 months planning this thing, your friends and your family are there, everyone's had a great time. It's like 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning, and we're just drinking beers in the pool, having espresso martinis, glasses of wine, messing around, doing like, it was
the best day of my life.
Yeah, it was seriously very cool. So yeah, was it worth it, and was it under to budget? By the way, was a good point as well. That's exactly what we had, 100%. And I wouldn't change it. And if you're watching this because you're considering Bali, like, we don't have a bad thing to say about the experience that we have. Anyway, that is the end of the Bali content. And as some of you might be thinking,
yeah, can you go on to talk about something else?
We get it, you got freaking married. Next place we're going? Cool.
So cool. But my first time. Whoop, whoop.